guys, Danny Johnson here, and I just went over to the Ford dealership where they have an old and a new Raptor for sale. So I just did a quick walk around video of what you can expect if you're looking at a used one, and also just kind of did a side-by-side features thing to show you how the new one differentiates from the old, at least from the outside. We can get into electronics and all that on a different video. I did also make a few Raptor videos, if you want to see those, just about the differences on the Generation 1 Raptor and how it's evolved and what options were new and which ones to get for which year. So the one at the lot that we looked at was about 60,000 miles. It's the Generation 1 2014, so the last year of the Generation 1 Raptor. If you may know that there was no Raptor then for 2015 or 16, and then the new one came out in 2017 as the V6. But anyway, I'm just going to show you this video of kind of walking around what you can expect on a 60,000 mile Raptor. A lot of these you see for sale. Pictures, I'm sure they look perfect. You know, it looks like a great brand new truck, but this is what you're going to most likely see, especially with a truck. So I want to show you some up close details, things that I was noticing and looking at, and anyway, and then get into some of the new Raptor styling and features and that from the outside. So just enjoy this nice little walk around video and let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and I'm going to show you this 2014 Raptor. This is the last year of the Raptor, and something to point out is just how thick these are past the headlight, from the headlight to the wheel well, or the fender well. This one here is a 2014, like I said. It has the front camera optional, and if you look below it, it has the sprayer that cleans off that camera, but that's an option you might want to be looking for. They had that past 2012. Something to note about Raptors, as you may know, if you see these bigger trucks have the cab lights on them, the yellow markers indicating they're over, I think it's 80 inches. The Raptor also has that, has one there, 3 of them across the grill here, and then the other one here, and then there's 2 more in the back bumper area that we'll show you. Now, something to really pay attention to here, you can see how scratched up this one is. It had its time off-road, and it only had about 60,000 miles on it. It has some pretty deep scratches, so if you're considering a truck like this, you want to look at that. These Fox shocks are pretty sweet, but I understand about 50,000 miles or so they need a rebuild, which is a couple $1,000s. But something you also want to look for here, this tailgate area with the step that comes down. You want to look up in here and just see how nasty it is. It's rusted pretty bad. So this one may not have been from this area. We're in the desert, and you know, I was a little disappointed here pulling the step out too. You know, pulling this step out, it was pretty grungy up in there too. You know, pretty rusted. The whole thing squeaked, and really had a hard time getting it out. But the way that these work is you flip this forward, and then here on the handle part of it, you can raise this up and it locks into place. And I'll show you here in a minute on the new Raptor how this is more concealed inside of the tailgate, which is a much better design. And same with that step fold out. It's a better design on the new one, as you could expect. But anyway, here's the running light on the back side, as we were talking about, just like the front has them. There's 2 of these on the back here. Something that I'm not too crazy about on the Raptors are where these connections are found. If you look, they're protected somewhat by the tow hitch there on the side, but they still are on the bottom exposed to where they could get knocked off. And the newer ones solve that problem. I'll show you. But you want to look at these side steps. This one here has been cracked up pretty good. A lot of people think these are rock sliders. This one I also noticed does not have the right size width on the tires. It's supposed to be a 315. And, you know, just looking at it in general, a lot of rock chips. I mean, it's worn out. Pretty sweet SVT A-arms there in the factory shocks. You want to look at these recovery hooks too and make sure that they don't have huge marks on them. You want to look at the skid plates and see how much off-roading it's done. Look at how grungy this is inside the, it looks like there's a block heater that usually they'll install on these if it's being shipped to a colder area. That's factory there in the front bumper. Looking at the bed liner here can tell a pretty good story too. I mean, it is a truck, but at the same time, if you're paying top dollar for one of these things because of the SVT, Raptor name, then you want to be looking at recovery hooks and just see how bad it was abused. It's pretty cool that has a full size spare with the correct rim. Now getting on to the new one here, you'll see the difference here. It also has a forward-facing camera, but the windshield sprayer, or the sprayer you'd say, comes from the top. Maybe that's a little bit better of a design. And when you're looking at the hood, what you'll notice is this top part of the hood is actually the only thing that opens, where the other one, the whole grill opens with it. Also has the heat extractors on the hood, but just different. Still has that nice big thick width past the headlights, so you get the running light, but now it's on the fender well instead of more of the front bumper area. And still have that gaping hole here, so you can look in and see your shocks, and it can eject mud out of from the tires. This one is brand new, of course, so it has the correct tires, either the 315/70 R17s. Same kind of deal here for the side steps, just updated look. They do say Raptor on them too, which is kind of cool. You have side vents, but notice they don't say SVT anymore. This is cool because right here, this is actually a spotlight that you can turn on from inside the truck rather than just a turn signal like the other one. And of course, the Fox shocks, now they're Ford Performance, not SVT either. And you can just see the dimensions here. These are 3-inch where the others were 2.5-inch. So a little bit bigger there, as you may have seen. Not too crazy about the wheel options on these, to tell you the truth. But dual exhaust that comes straight out. My truck does this, and it's very annoying because when you're standing behind it, it burns you. But recovery hooks are up here. But see, this is a much better design to have the electrical connections up top here, where they're not going to get knocked off. So I think that was a good improvement. You also notice with the tail hatch here, it's pretty cool. When you open it, it's a button now, and it slowly drops itself. Now, as for the step, you push this button, and this slides out, and instead of having to flip it over, this is just spring-loaded now. So you just step on it as you want and don't have to worry about putting it away. This now is concealed inside of the actual tailgate, which I think is a much better design too. And I'll show you a little more on that. And you also have lights for inside the bed, which are pretty cool, I must say. So with this step, you pull it out this way, flip it upwards, and it locks into place. And then you'll notice it has numbers on it. 1 to push this button for it to come down. So it'll slide down, and then you have number 2, another lever here, so that allows you to slide it back into its place. And this part just slides right up. The other one you had to actually flip up, or it is smashing itself. A nice Ford Rhino line, or whatever you'd call it, the Line X type deal. When you see that Ford logo in the front of the bed, you know it's actually from Ford that way. This is pretty cool. They have the side detecting radar, helps you with even towing trailers. It can see that far back. Now, notice these shocks too, they point forward. On the other side, they pointed backwards. So yeah, once again, it says Raptor here. And this one actually pretty funny, because if you look, wow, $7,995. It's a typo. I was going to see about going in here and trying to get it for that price. Obviously, they'd say no, but some places they have to honor that price. So the original Raptor had SVT in the side vents. The new ones don't have that since they're not SVT anymore, but they are both functional. And you'll also notice the skid plates. They're all pretty similar, if not more, on the newer one. And you're still getting your Fox shocks, but the A-arm does not say SVT on it anymore. Inside the bed, that Ford logo only comes with the Ford bed, but the roof is a really nice panoramic. The newer ones come, of course, with all this fun detective and the old school keypad. Old one has keypad only, and right there on the door. Just kind of like a bonus feature, I also saw this other Raptor. It was actually gone when I went and made this last video, but I had some pictures of it from the time before. But it looks like they sell pretty quick, and they're still holding a high premium just for being an SVT product. And compared to the newer Raptors, they're still a pretty good deal, though they are a little bit older. This one, as you can tell, has the bigger front bumper on it, actually from one of my favorite off-road companies, Addictive Desert Designs. I have some install videos for that on a Jeep for the tire carrier and the bumper, and soon to do the front bumper and winch. But something to consider when you're looking at Raptors that have these big modifications. You want to know how they were really treated. This one looked like it did do a lot of Baja off-roading, and something else that I'll point out is kind of the quality of the installation of some of these things. As you'll see in my videos on the Jeep, you have to very carefully unplug the backup beeper sensors and stuff, which I'll show you on this one in a minute. But the front of it looked pretty good. Didn't seem like it had really hit anything or taken any nosedives. So sometimes people are just all about the styling on these. And you can see this one's missing the light bar if it ever had one. So sometimes people kife all the parts. But I want to pay attention to the rear bumpers on these. These are the Venom ones. And they have kind of the circle design. I wasn't 100% wild on, though I do like the company itself. Very high quality. But it even looked like they had a few patch marks here on the side of the bumper, which you may see. The holes look like they were repatched or something weird. But you'll notice right there, kind of in the middle of the screen right now, there's a backup sensor, and there is no backup sensor coming out of it. And I looked up in there, and you could see all of the harness wadded up and zip tied. So they obviously didn't take their time on the installation. So it's just something I wanted to point out if you're looking at something that's had some modifications done to it. Also, I could see some rust forming here on the joints, but that's kind of normal. Funny enough, they did throw the factory front bumper in the back in case you wanted to put that back on. And the way they threw it in there, though, it's going to be all scratched up from rolling around there. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if there's anything you might want to see that I can help you with. Thanks, guys.